Your pack, your bow, your quiver, whatever weapon you choose to have on hand for engaging in melee, all of these pieces of equipment and more will be the means by which you survive and your enemies die. Hello everyone, and welcome back down here to the Gamer's Den with me, your host, Jordan, your master of lore and storyteller extraordinaire, bringing you the equipment portion of our first edition Pathfinder Ranger Guide. And we are going to be covering a fair bit of different kinds of equipment for you today, so we're going to go ahead and dive into this as quick as possible. But just before we get into it, if you're new here to the channel, then go on down to hit that subscribe button and become a regular member here at the Gamer's Den. Or if you're already a part of such a legendary roster of legendary adventurers, then go on down to hit the like button and share the video far and wide to help the channel grow ever further. But now, let's go ahead and actually start talking about the gear that you want to pick up. So, to begin with, the most important thing for you to have is your main hand weapon, and I've got two options for you. We'll start with the Greatsword. This would be your main weapon, 2d6 points of damage plus strength and a half with a crit range of 19 to 20 for double damage. So this will have higher average damage than, say, the Falchion, but it will have a lower critical rate, so that's why it's not rated as perfect 100% blue, the top tier choice that you want to grab, but it is a good one, and it's one that I tend to go with myself. Ideally, for a two-handed weapon, especially your main weapon like this, you would want to have enchantments like Mighty Cleaving, which counts as a +1 bonus and grants an extra cleave attack on adjacent targets. And then also, you want to get alignment-based enchantments based on what you're fighting, so holy, anarchic, etc. Whatever alignment type you're most frequently fighting, like say you're fighting devils, Batazu, then you're gonna want to have holy and anarchic. Those will apply extra damage to your enemies. Also, definitely pick up the speed enchantment. This is made for two-handed weapons. Counts as a +3 bonus, but on a full attack you get to make an extra attack at your full base attack bonus. And then also definitely pick up something like Impervious. This only costs 3,000 gold pieces and does not count against your enhancement bonus limit. And it will let you make your weapon immune to natural or magical means of rusting, warping, rot. It makes it harder to break, giving it a bonus to its hardness DC and hit points based on the enhancement bonus. So definitely a great option to have. And throwing this on an adamantine weapon will make it damn near impossible for it to break at all. But then we have your other option, the Falchion, and this is probably mathematically and build-wise the best for you to go with. The main weapon, 2d4 points of damage plus strength and a half with a crit range of 18 to 20 times 2. Lower average damage, but with a higher crit rate, especially with the expanded crit range that we get through our feats. You're going to have a critical range of 15 to 20, so 1/4 of your attacks are going to come out as critical hits, which works well with the different critical feats that we're picking up. And while any of the previous enchantments I mentioned before, such as the speed enchantment, will be ideal for the Falchion, also consider something like Dispelling Burst. It's a +2 bonus, and your weapon holds Dispel and Greater Dispel magic. The enhancement bonus will count on the roll to dispel when you hit a target, so this can be an easy way for you to have a little bit of magical support ready and waiting to cut through some of your opponent's enchantments that might be in place. And then also Invigorating, which is another +2 bonus, and it reduces exhaustion, fatigue, or gives a +2 morale bonus to attack, or a 10-foot bonus to your movement. So definitely a very handy one there, definitely very interesting, especially since exhaustion and fatigue, those are very terrible status ailments to have. And then lastly, Bane enchantments are something that should be applied based on what you most often fight, undead, evil outsiders, etc., so, like what we talked about with alignment enchantments before. And then moving on from there to our ranged weapon, you want to pick up a composite longbow. This will deal 1d8 damage plus your strength modifier, and crits on a 20 times 3 and has a 110 feet range plus another 10 feet for every point of strength modifier allowed into it. Now, the strength bonus to damage depends upon the rating the bow is made for. So a composite longbow of strength +3, that is only going to allow for +3 bonus damage there. And then one of +6 will allow for 6 extra bonus damage. The enchantment you absolutely want to get is adaptive. It costs 1,000 gold pieces, but your bow's strength rating now changes to match whatever your bonus is. So if you move from that +4 bonus up to a +6, you don't have to get a new bow made. This will automatically just adapt and adjust to your strength, allowing you to pump out that damage and saving you a significant amount of gold later on. Also, the speed enchantment works for longbows, or at least there's a ranged variant of the speed enchantment. So you can get that extra attack when you make a full attack, allowing you to put more arrows down range. And then another handy one to pick up is phase locking, which counts as a +2 bonus. Creatures damaged by a phase locking weapon are affected by dimensional anchor for 1 round, meaning they can't teleport, blink, or do any sort of extra dimensional travel. So that can give you an extra crucial round to have the rest of the party deal damage, inflict status ailments, or for the wizard to actually throw down a full dimensional anchor spell. So definitely one to consider, but maybe not the most top priority. And then we move on to your armor. So you're probably going to be starting out with Breastplate. It's a medium armor, so that will be a significant amount of help for you. And the enchantments that you want to throw down on this are going to be things like Determination, which costs a pretty penny at 30,000 gold pieces. But once a day, once you hit 0 hit points, this will auto-cast the Breath of Life spell on you, healing you and bringing you back from the brink right there, giving you a chance to actually keep the fight going. And then also pick up the Restful enchantment, which is 4,500 gold pieces. You will only need 2 hours of rest and do not become fatigued while sleeping in this armor, so you never really have to dress down or worry about investing funds and having a mithril chain shirt, unless that's something you really want to do. And then the next enchantment would be Advancing, which is a +1 bonus, and once a round, when the wearer drops an opponent to 0 hit points or less with a melee attack, they can immediately move up to 10 feet as a free action. This movement does not provoke attacks of opportunity, and it doesn't count against anything like your 5-foot step. So when you stack this together with the different cleave feats or enchantments, this can be a great way for you to really start carving through the battlefield. Absolutely fantastic. But then we go on from there to our full plate armor. This will give you a +9 bonus and has a max dex bonus of +1 with an armor class penalty of -6. Your speed will be reduced to 20 feet, but you want to get this made out of mithril so it counts as medium armor and reduces some of that AC penalty. Now, the enchantments that you want to pick up for this, aside from what was mentioned previously for the breastplate, are Mind Buttressing. So Mind Buttressing counts as a +2 bonus and gives you a +2 resistance bonus on will saves and gives immunity to possession and mental control. So spells like charm, compulsion effects, like command, those will be all out of the picture. Now you don't have a terrible will save, but not having to worry about anything as dire as these is massive. And then also spell dodging, which is another +2 bonus. It provides a +4 dodge bonus to your armor class against attack rolls from spells and spell-like abilities, touch spells, and summon creatures. This is important because touch spells ignore armor bonus, so instead of losing out on that full +9, you're just losing out on 5 of your armor class there. Well, while the touch spell goes in on top of everything, goes in towards your dex bonus, this will give you another +4 with all of that. So definitely an essential enchantment to have. And then of course we move on to our general equipment. We're skipping over shields with this just because you're not really going to be making use of them as much, you can consider a buckler, or a dancing shield can certainly help, but between dropping your bow and drawing out your greatsword, you may not have time to get that equipped, so buckler may be your go-to. And then your general equipment, you're going to have belts of giant strength. This is ideally what you want to go for. At 4,000, 16,000, or 36,000 gold pieces, this will give you either a +2, +4, or +6 bonus to strength respectively. Now, this is just mentioned because this is, while still expensive, significantly less expensive than the Belt of Physical Might, which costs 10,000, 40,000, and 90,000 gold pieces. And you'll want strength and constitution for the bonuses here, and this will give you a +2, +4, or +6 bonus to both of these. So definitely, if you pick up a Belt of Physical Might, you really want it. And then next is a classic staple. It's the Cloak of Resistance. Costs anywhere between 1,000 to 25,000 gold pieces, giving you a +1 to a +5 resistance bonus to all of your saving throws. So really useful. Absolutely something you want in your back pocket there. Well, on your shoulders rather. And then we come to the Ring of Protection, another classic. It's a 2,000 to 50,000 gold piece cost, and will give you a +1 to +5 deflection bonus to AC, and this also counts towards touch AC. So all that comes together to help keep you with at least a +9 bonus against touch spells, which will make you much more difficult to affect with such spells, which are spells like Ray of Exhaustion. And as we mentioned before, exhaustion is not a great status effect to have going on yourself. And then we, of course, come to another classic staple for any adventurer, and that's the Handy Haversack. The Handy Haversack will cost you 2,000 gold pieces, so not bad at all, and it has 2 side pouches that hold 2 cubic feet or up to 20 pounds of material, 1 center pouch that holds 8 cubic feet or up to 80 pounds, and this allows you to draw items without provoking attacks of opportunity. And for any of you who might be more on the metric side of things, this is 0.06 cubic meters or 9 kilograms, and then 0.226 cubic meters or 36 kilograms. So this works by basically making it so that whatever item you're reaching for is automatically on top, so you can draw it out. It still takes an action, but it won't provoke an attack of opportunity. And then, of course, we still have yet more for you. I said we have a lot. We come to the Headband of Inspired Wisdom. This costs 4,000, 16,000, or 36,000 gold pieces and gives a +2, +4, or +6 bonus to your wisdom. Now, wisdom is not the tippy-top priority, but it does affect your spell casting, so this will give you bonus spells and make your spells harder to resist, so certainly a handy one to have. Maybe not the most dire expense. If you even just get a +2 bonus to your wisdom, you're going to be doing pretty good. And then the next item is the Efficient Quiver, something I list for basically most of the classes. It's 1,800 gold pieces, and it has 3 slots. The first stores up to 60 items the size and shape of arrows. The second stores 18 objects similar to javelins. And the third stores 6 objects about the size and shape of bows. This will let you store wands, rods, spears, and so many other implements that could be incredibly handy for you. This is a way for you to store those rods or those wands of Cure Light Wounds, or any meta magic rods that extend the length of your spells, or at least maximizes those particular values. So definitely something handy to have there. And then, of course, we have more. We have the Pearls of Power, costing anywhere between 1,000, 4,000, 9,000, 16,000, or 70,000 gold pieces for our purposes. You use these pearls to recall a spell you had cast that day. The 70,000 gold piece variant allows you to recall 2 spells of different levels, and the reason we only go up to 16,000 is because we can only cast 4th level spells. And so in only being able to cast up to 4th level spells, we don't really need to go any higher for something that lets you have 5th level spells. And the 70,000 gold piece just makes it on here because getting 2 spells out of the deal is definitely handy. And then lastly, we have the Tree Feather Token. 400 gold pieces, and it causes an oak to instantly spring up 5 feet with a 5 foot in diameter trunk, 60 foot tall, and 40 feet diameter top. Why do we want this? Well, it works with the tree stride spell. Having an oak in place, the oak, it gives you the furthest, longest travel range possible. And even if you're not looking to travel, just having the oak up means that you have a nice, safe space to sleep in. And yeah, so it's very, very handy. Also, even if you're not looking to travel, throwing this down in front of a doorway, this will cause the tree to sprout up. It'll grow against whatever foundations and walls or structure may be around it, causing damage, but this can be a nice way of blocking opponents from getting to you. So definitely a very useful item, and is only limited by your creativity, honestly. And these are the bits of equipment that I would recommend right off the top of my head. Certainly, we have many other options. As I mentioned, there are metamagic rods, wands of cure light wounds, various other scrolls, potions, and implements that are wildly useful to you, but just kind of depend on the campaign overall. But what do you think? Go on down to the comments below and let your thoughts be heard. Do you like this list? Is there anything you would add or change? Any enchantments you might recommend? Go on down below to hit the like or dislike buttons and engage in discussion. And remember, if you're new here to the channel, go on down there to hit the subscribe button and become a regular member here at the Gamers Den. But with all that said, I've been your host, Jordan, your master of lore and storyteller extraordinaire. Thank you all so very much for your time, and you all have yourselves a good night.